A very good day to all of you here. I'm very happy to get to see you all in this video again. So for today's lesson, it will be Pulse 2, Unit 5, page 60, on writing an opinion essay. So this is the part 1. As for part 2, I shall do it with you for the next video. Alright, that shall be in the next video. The objectives for today's lesson will be to read a short essay. And as for objective 2, you are required to use 2 phrases to show contrasting opinions. They are on the one hand and on the other hand. So for part 2, for the next video, it shall be to write a short essay. That I will share with you how to write a short essay, which is writing an opinion essay, in the next video. And before we start our lesson for today, there is this hot question which I would like to ask all of you. This question will need you to ponder upon. Right. Alright. Now, what do you see here? Well, it's the moon. Okay. And the question here, would you like to travel to the moon? And there are 2 questions. Yes, why? And no, why not? Alright, as for me, I don't know about you. Yeah, for me, if I were to travel to the moon, my reason would be I would like to be the 13th person to walk on the moon. Why? Now, the first manned moon landing took place on the 20th of July in 1969, when the American spacecraft Apollo 11 landed on the moon. Right, the astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first people to walk on the moon's surface. And between 1969 and 1972, there were a total of 6 manned flights to the moon, and a total of 12 people have walked on the moon's surface. And the last person to walk on the moon was Eugene Cernan on 14th of December 1972. Yes, I would like to travel to the moon. The reason is I would like to be the 13th person to walk on the moon. Well, pardon my handwriting here. Okay, now, well, if no, why not? Well, as you know, the moon has no air and water, so my fear would be, I fear that I wouldn't be able to breathe there. So that will be my answer. What about yours? Or what about your answers? Alright, now we shall start our lesson now. On page 60, writing an opinion essay. So for exercise 1, read and listen to the essay. The question is, do you agree with the opinion in paragraph B or C? Let's go through this essay together. There are 4 parts here, and there over here you can see the moon. Yeah, the moon. Alright, let's start the reading. Will people ever live on the moon? Part A. Many people like the idea of going on holiday to the moon, but will anyone actually live there in the future? Scientists have different opinions on this subject. Part B. On the one hand, the number of people on Earth is growing, and we are destroying our natural environment. If we aren't careful, one day we won't have any food or energy. And if that's happens, we will need to find a new place to live. Part C. On the other hand, the moon isn't a very comfortable place for human beings. There isn't any air or water, and the temperature is too hot or too cold. Maybe we will be able to improve conditions on the moon, but it will be very difficult. Part B. In conclusion, I don't think people will ever live on the moon. In my opinion, the Earth is a better place for human beings. So in your exercise book, please write down the day and the date. And as usual for me, I require my students to write down an adjective word or 2 adjective words before the day. Scorching hot Thursday or scorching hot Friday. It can be any day. And the date itself over here, it shall be written in full. And pause to write down the page, writing an opinion essay. Exercise 1. The question comes like this. Do you agree with the opinion in paragraph B or C? So in your textbook, for part B, on the one hand, it gives a positive response. As for part C, it gives a negative response. Right? So let's start the answer. I'm giving you 2 options here, and I'm going to write down 2 opinions by agreeing to paragraph B and C, but you can choose either one. Alright, let's say I agree with opinion in paragraph B. I shall write like this. I agree with the opinion in paragraph B. Right, and my reasons will be this. Deforestation has affected wildlife, ecosystems, weather patterns, and also the climate. And also the climate. Forests are disappearing. At an alarming rate. We might need to find a new planet to live if deforestation continues. Alright, that is the part 1. Now, part 2 for my answer. If I agree to paragraph C, alright, I agree with the opinion in paragraph C. Why? Because there is no life on the moon. Now remember, when you write the moon, the M should be in capital letter. And the surface of the moon is covered with fine dust mixed with a variety of pebbles, rocks, and rocks. Without air and water, without air and water, human will not be able to live there. When it is hot, the temperature can reach 170 degrees Celsius, and when it is cold, the temperature can dip to negative 173 degrees Celsius. Well, that is kind of very scary. So these are the two opinions, yes, that I gave. So you can try to give your own opinion, but these are just guidance for you. Alright, you may find out more information on the internet. So these are some of the information that I found on the internet, and well, so you can try to write down your own answers. Alright, now we shall head on to the next exercise. We shall skip exercise 2 because it is about saying the two phrases on the one hand and on the other hand in our own language. So I'm going to skip that part. Alright, so we'll head on to exercise 3. Coming to exercise 3, it says look at the essay again, and in which paragraphs does the writer 1. Give reasons why people probably won't live on the moon. Now for question 1, it is towards the negative part, and for negative part, as you can see, on the other hand, so C is more to negative response. The moon isn't a very comfortable place for human beings. So the answer for question 1 shall be C. And as for question 2, it says, which paragraph does the writer give reasons why people might live on the moon? And that is for a more positive response, which shall be paragraph B. And for the third question, give a personal opinion on the subject. Well, personal opinion, the keyword will be opinion here. So the word opinion is in paragraph D. So the answer for question 3 shall be D. And question 4 asks a question. And you can see there is a question here in part A. So paragraph A. So that will be the answer for question 4. So in order to write down the answer here, before that, remember to write down the questions, instruction and the questions. So for question 1, the answer will be C. This is on the negative response. Question 2, it will be on the positive response, right? So it shall be B. As for question 3, personal opinion, right? The keyword is there, and therefore this will be in paragraph D. And the last question, ask a question, and you can find question in paragraph A. Well, the answers for exercise 3 is just as simple as that. Alright, so now we shall go to exercise 4. Coming to exercise 4, copy and complete the notes for paragraphs B and C of a different essay with your own yes and no reasons. Okay, the question for this will be, will computers ever think like human beings? So there are two parts here. Part B will be for positive response, which is a yes. Right? And as for part C, it will be for negative response, and that is a no. Of course, reasons shall be given. Alright, so let's start. And it says here, yes, maybe they will, because. So what are your reasons for agreeing that agreeing to computers will ever think like human beings? Alright, so here we just copy down the answer, which is has been given. It says here, they are already very intelligent. Now, why? You see, computers today, they can perform the highest mental operations, which is the mathematical ones. And as for 2, you can say, well, they can surpass human intelligence in some areas. Alright, so which human can't, cannot. So what would they be? It will be such as completing the task of recognition, decision making, and control. As for the third reason, you can say they have a slight sense of its physical self, but not exactly like the human one. Alright, but not exactly like the human one. Now, what would that be? For example, it is like vacuum robot. Vacuum robot. Yeah, vacuum robot, which is being sold in the market now. So these are the 3 reasons. And as for the third explanation here, I would like to explain a little bit more. They actually learn gradually as they move and they bump into things, and similar to a baby learning about itself by observing its hands. So these are the 3 reasons. Right, so which I agree that computers will think like human beings. Now, as for the second part, which is paragraph C, you may say no, they probably won't. Because 1, which has been given by the book, they don't have feelings. Right, so because they lack of essential capability of emotional knowledge. Example like, falling in love. As for 2, they don't have the human capacity for intuition. Yes, right, because they are programmed, you see. So as for the third one, they don't have any conscience. And reasonings, reasoning. What does that mean? They only possess an attribute that allows them to make sense about any information and data attributed to them. So this sounds like how humans behave, but with very different states of awareness. Alright, so these are the answers for exercise 4. Alright, so for the next part in the next video, that will be for the writing task. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and have a great day.